everybody, this is John for MTG Nexus coming at you, finishing up a league with Will Pulliam's version of Titan Shift here in the new meta. As a friendly reminder, if you do like modern content, please consider giving us a follow here on Twitch, giving us a subscribe over on YouTube as we try to figure out what the best deck in the new format is. So, this is Will Pulliam's list that he used to 4-0 a recent modern prelim after the bannings. You'll notice that this is Titan Shift, a deck that's kind of faded in the background in favor of Green White Reclaimer and Amulet Titan when Field of the Dead was legal. Plus, it was a little bit bad against the aggro decks. It was not great against the control decks anymore either, so really it just kind of had fallen by the wayside. But with the format being slowed down between Simian Spirit Guide being banned, the control decks taking quite the hit, and some of the other Titan decks taking a little bit of a hit as well, this deck seemed like a pretty good place to start in kind of a wide open meta. What is this deck trying to do? It's trying to set up either Primeval Titan or Scape Shift for Valakuts and a bunch of mountains, and to burn your opponent out with lands, basically. The deck has, I believe, 13 copies of mountains, 5 basic mountains, 4 Cinderglades, 4 Stomping Grounds, and 1 Ketria Triome. So a total of 8, 13, 14 mountains plus 4 Valakuts. You also have access to 2 basic forests and a bunch of fetch lands. Fetch lands notable in this version because of the addition of Colony Heart Expedition, which is not always a card played in these decks, but it is quite nice, especially when you can drop it on turn 2. Then beyond that, you have the usual ramp package of Farseek, Sakura Tribuilder, Search for Tomorrow. And the newest addition to the deck is Dryad of the Elysian Grove. Not really that new to the format, but fairly new to this archetype. Previously, you'd play things like Prismatic Omen in order to turn all your lands into the different land types, which is relevant for making your Valakuts mountains themselves. Beyond that, Dryad allows you to play extra land drops, so overall you get to accelerate if you have lands in hand. Plus allows you to Scape Shift on 6 as opposed to Scape Shifting on 7, which can be really crucial when you're trying to kill an opponent over 18 life. The auxiliary spells, you have some number of lightning bolts to interact with early creatures, perhaps pop a Teferi or something. And then 2 copies of Summoner's Pact to be able to go get a Sakura Tribuilder, a Dryad, or a Primeval Titan, depending on the situation you find yourself in, as well as some sideboard cards. So 29 lands, this is very much a ramp deck trying to get to Valakut plus 6 mountains, kill your opponent. Enough said. Sideboard, 4th copy of Lightning Bolt, 2 copy of Anger of Gods, if you're not getting a hint here, as well as 3 Obstinate Baloth. Aggro decks are this deck's weakness. It struggles to decks that can go under it, as it primarily doesn't do anything until turn 2. The only turn 1 plays it really have access to is Search for Tomorrow, Suspend, and Lightning Bolt. Sideboard, beyond that, 2 copies of Veil of Summer for any type of discard or counterspell matchup. Obviously, it's pretty resilient against both, barring they're not packing Blood Moon, as it is able to play out its lands and eventually dome the control opponent, especially these control decks that are still trying to figure out what win cons are good. 1 Reclamation Sage, 2 Force of Vigor is kind of your anti-Blood Moon, anti-Leyline of Sanctity packages. Primarily Blood Moon, as that really slows down what the deck's trying to do, but also Leyline of Sanctity can keep you from doming your opponent and killing them in some spots, especially if they can answer your creatures. 1 copy of Tireless Tracker to play in the grindy matchups. 2 copies of Engineered Explosives when you need more outs to be it Death Shadows or whatever, that red is especially heinous at answering. And then finally, 1 copy of Grafdigger's Cage as a little bit of a hedge against Dredge and fairly decent against any other type of graveyard shenanigans you might find yourself dealing with in the current meta. So, that said, let's finish up this league tonight, and probably won't be streaming tomorrow morning as I'm streaming tonight, but, you know, is what it is. Started out 3-0. We played against 3 different variants of control. First one, I think, was Blue-White Stoneblade. The second one was Jeskai Nonsense. And the third one was Doom Switch on the 5-color Valky Scape Shift Nonsense. So, wish our opponent good luck. Unfortunately, we are on the draw here, but See how that goes. Sand is definitely a keep. Alright, Tron. Well, Tron could be interesting. Depends on what variant of Tron they are, really. Blue Tron. Okay, well. I guess we try to resolve Colony Heart Expedition. Probably going to get remanded or something dumb. Nope. Okay, just resolves. Sure. They might have repeal for it, so like no guarantee that this does the trick. TKS. Well, I mean, outside of Lightning Bolt, not a whole lot special going on here. So that gives us 5 mountains, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 lands. Really do need to draw a payoff at some point, though. Once again, leaking Triumph in the deck. Just because. We might just die to Thought-Knot-Seer beats. Or if they have the dreaded 7-10 split, that could be a little bit rough. Walking Ballista for 1. One, two, three, four. Question is, am I chump blocking with Dryad? Probably. if I'm even given the opportunity, which doesn't look like I'm going to be. Alright, so we probably want a couple copies of Vela Summer. Curious what else we want. Tireless Tracker. Possibly we want either Force of Vigor or Rex Sage, because they do bring in. They do have access to some number of chalices, some number of other nonsense. They could have Witchbane Orb, which is a thing sometimes. So I'm not really sure how far down the rabbit hole I want to go. Try it like that. Bolt's relatively useless in this matchup. Like, they don't tend to have a ton of stuff that Bolt can answer. Much like most control decks don't. Depends on what version they're on, but they could have like a smattering of different things. So this hand's pretty reasonable. Opponent could have like spells near here. But I still think we have to jam. That's going to be annoying. Opponent is entirely too cocky. Though we're about to get Tron, so it really doesn't freaking matter what we did here. Sure. Oh, nothing like a cocky control player. The problem is we have to spend the next turn. Yep, not even gonna mess with that. Moving on. Losing to blue Tron kind of sucks, but, you know, happens sometimes. Founding Conundrum's an interesting sideboard card to bring in against Skeep Shift, I guess. Opponent good luck. Keeping this hand. Well, we don't have a payoff. What we do have quite a few payoffs to draw to. Alright. Fan-friggin-tastic. It's never a good sign. Okay. Not exactly what I was expecting. I'm gonna get a basic forest just in case. I'm not exactly sure what's going on over there, but I want to have the option to do something. Sure. Get a 17 and like it. We need to top deck something. Escape Shift next turn would be probably ideal. Been a minute since I've seen Mono White Devotion, so. You would think I was in the 1 and 3 bracket, not the 3 and 1 bracket. Modern right now, what can we say? Yeah, don't particularly care about wall of lemons. Okay. Oh, just playing it for devotion purposes, sure. Okay. Kill one of those, take away some of their devotion off the battlefield. Sure. Payoffs do we actually have right now? So 4 Scape Shift, win the game. 4 Primeval Titan and 2 Summoners Pact. Pretty good job of setting us up to win the game. Okay. Sure. Okay. Opponent's got all the mana in the world. What's their payoff? Sure. That's fine. I know I play a lot of lands, but come on now. Triad's not even good here. Wow. Okay. Nope. So I'd like to play first. Hand's reasonable, decent chance. Their opponent has a leyline in their opening hand. Yep. Not that I am remotely shocked at that. I don't think they play Blood Moon, but yep. Presume they have a removal spell for that, right? Pretty sure we're just locked at this point. I think Rex Sages are only out. Well, escape shift's kind of useless. does nothing. Safely concede here. Like the good old 3-2 after the... So, I mean, some ways that's kind of scape shift in a nutshell. Some games you do the thing, some games you don't. Yeah. I always joke about Leyline of Sanctity being secondary to Blood Moon, but it's possible our opponent actually had access to both. The red splash is usually for Blood Moon. No, I guess, no, not technically Blood Moon. It's usually Form of the Dragon to be able to hard cast that, which is their ultimate win con. Enduring Ideal combo, not something I've seen in quite some time, actually. And then, obviously, we lost to Mono Blue Tron a little bit because we didn't draw threats in Game 1, just like we didn't against Enduring Ideal there. So, you know, sometimes when you have 10, 12, whatever number of outs in your deck and you don't draw any of them, kind of hard to win a game sometimes. So, anywho, knew that was going to be a short stream, but what did want to finish up that league tonight, because I have a feeling I won't be getting up early in the morning. So, 3-2 finish, not the most exciting, but, you know, especially after starting 3-0, you have dreams of a 5-0 in your hand, especially after beating Doom Switch, but it wasn't to be, I guess. So anyways, this has been John for MTG Nexus, finishing up our league with Titan Shift.